Mane fa na sema PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV de osia dem yopo.
Ewiai de yante asemde na we sad news a hit Ghana ene afen so no the political landscape. Yeah, news no say your former first lady Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings ada the benkum so and I say waka ejene agu. Na me pese yebeko Ghana web ne akokan ensem kakra afa former first lady of Ghana Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings. Heading no say breaking former first lady Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings is dead. Former First Lady Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings has passed away at age 78 at Ridge Hospital in Accra. According to reports, Agyeman-Rawlings had been unwell for some time now and was under close medical supervision prior to her passing. She was the wife of the late former President Jerry John Rawlings and played a prominent role in Ghanaian politics and social advocacy. Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings was widely recognized for her leadership in championing women's rights and empowering communities across the country. Profile of late former First Lady Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings. Yeah, profile no HSA. Details surrounding her passing remains unclear, as both family and hospital authorities have yet to issue an official statement. She served as Ghana's First Lady from 1981 to 2001 and was the founder and leader of the National Democratic Party, NDP. She also established the 31st December Women's Movement in 1982, an initiative aimed to empower Ghanaian women through entrepreneurship, education, and political participation. Her last public appearance was on 18th September 2025 when she was accompanied by her children to the final funeral rites of Asantehema Nana Konadu III at the Manshia Palace in Kumasi. Na news no anase ensema yekokan ye etrese former First Lady Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings ada ne benkum so ewo Ridge Hospital in Accra. Na according to report no the home fa no na ye admitted no to hospital. Na adokotafo ene nurses fo ejina no so eye de omo hoɔden betumi bia no nanso owo krade a enkwa entimi enche. Na oye Ghana First Lady from 1981 to 2001. Afei nso no na owo ekuo bi a yefre no DWM, December Women's Movement. Na the last time oba public anase oba bedwam Asantehema ya also in the Manshia Palace in the 18th of September 2020. So na yebeko parliament. Eden na ekoso ewo parliament. Tie news we nafa wadwentre ebra comment section.
Speaker, I want to thank you for the opportunity to contribute to the statement ably made by the Honorable Forson, asking for the Backbenchers Day. And Mr. Speaker, to remind us that all of us entered this house as backbenchers. On your day of entry is your day you are emerging having been elected as member of parliament. Mr. Speaker, parliamentary practice, we are told throughout the world, is based on experience. That is why it's my wish that every backbencher will have an opportunity to rise through the ranks, through the middle bench, even to become the front bench and to lead. But they can only lead if we give them an opportunity to learn. But Mr. Speaker, they themselves must be ready to learn. And when we say they must be ready to learn, in particular for Ghana, two important things. Is the member of parliament familiar with the provisions of the 1992 Constitution? Yes, he must. If for nothing, from Article 106 to 124, every member of parliament must keep a memory of it. If he is the kind of member like the Honorable Abu Jinapo, then he can add the chapters on fundamental human rights and freedoms, because Parliament is the guardian of those rights and freedoms. You can add it to 106 so that you learn the section that deals with. Because in a country where there is rule of law, the most fundamental thing would be So that's why this house, at all times, when the right and freedom of any person is infringed upon, we must be worried and concerned, because that is the gravest threat to the practice of democracy. But Mr. Speaker, in discussing Backbenchers Day, I'm happy your clerks at table are here. This house, we must improve upon our own practice. I recall, Mr. Speaker, your good self, you were in the meeting. Even in Akusumbo, when we went through the long period from, I should pay respect to the Honorable Papo Owusu Ankuma, Yilechre, and the rest, when they said that Parliament must change its standing orders. I recall, Mr. Speaker, in one of the meetings where you were, I contested, but I was defeated. Today, I'm honored. I kept telling them to declare a minority day in the standing orders of this house, and that day must be solely reserved as a minority day, because, Mr. Speaker, the best way to enrich democracy is to have the views of the other side, the opposite side of the aisle. I recall, in fact, Mr. Speaker, I had traveled with one of you to the L'Assemblée Nationale, the French National Assembly, and another assembly in Sri Lanka and India with the Honorable Osechi Mensah. And I even carried a book to this Parliamentary Review Committee. There was a book written by one of the authorities on rules and procedure. And I drew Parliament's attention that declare a minority day, a day the minority can move a motion. And Mr. Speaker, you recall, I came here with you after we left school. You remember the same year. You remember my popular Edumdumadum Bejai. It was a motion. Bejai. You were here with the Honorable Kandapa and co, with the Hackman and co. So Backbenchers Day, Mr. Speaker, we need to have a dedicated time for the political opposition. Constructive alternatives, not just commentary. Not just commentary. And Mr. Speaker, I've said it repeatedly. The day the Parliament of Ghana will sit right, the Ghanaian people will smile. Because a lot of the wrongs in this country is because Parliament sits and allows it. Why are we having problem with debt? Forgive me, Mr. Speaker. I heard President Nana Addo Dankwa in Brussels lamenting about excessive borrowing and what debt exchange has done to him. The darkest hour. How did the dark hour happen? Because the Parliament of Ghana failed to limit him and to remind him that yes, you have the powers, but don't borrow excessively. You may disagree. I know you are his special aide. I know that. I know you are his special aide. But Mr. Speaker, I wholeheartedly support that we give backbenchers an opportunity. Then finally, Mr. Speaker, my comment, which you personally have been concerned. When they bring reports to this chamber, how many backbenchers or even frontbenchers want to read the report? Please, when they bring reports, do we go through the report in order to understand what is in the report? So backbenchers must be ready to learn. And to learn is easy. Master the standing orders. And then sometimes, Mr. Speaker, leaders. When I see leaders in front shouting, that's not for leaders to do. If you are a good leader, you must have those who will do that for you. I saw them a while talk about LGBTQ and the Honorable Habib. Interesting times in Ghana. You were in Ghana. Parliament passed the law. Nana Addo Dankwa was in breach of the Constitution. You didn't have the voice. He didn't read Article 106, 106.78. Read it. He was in breach. If Parliament gives a bill to the President and he can assent or not assent, the Constitution provides what he should do. Did you do that? Then you allow it to lapse. Then today we are discussing the same matter. I heard the leader talk about there was no administrative error, but there was a constitutional error. The Constitution is elaborate. What do you do? It's not to say that President Akufo-Addo can't disagree with Parliament, but if he disagrees, convey it back to Parliament that I disagree with you and this is my reasoning. I will not do it because of this reason. we should pass it. Or I simply would have ended by saying, why didn't you pass it? But it will be passed. Thank you.
Yes, former Minister for Lands.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to this very important subject. Mr. Speaker, I must confess that when I first had the privilege of coming into this House in 2021, Mr. Speaker, I was also at a loss as to what constitutes a backbencher. Mr. Speaker, it appears that the framers of our standing orders, pursuant to Order 6, headed interpretation, have attempted to define what constitutes a backbencher. Mr. Speaker, the relevant provisions have been copiously quoted, and I do not intend to repeat. But, Mr. Speaker, it is clear that our Parliament equates a backbencher from the interpretation to term of office, to tenure of office. How many terms have you been in Parliament? Mr. Speaker, the Honourable Minister for Education and MP for Tamale South talks about alternative ways of formulating our standing orders. And I want to say, Mr. Speaker, that part of the problem I believe we have is the definition, the very definition of who constitutes a backbencher. So, Speaker, to that end, I will respectfully refer the House to the House of Commons, the Parliament of Great Britain, which is said to be the mother of all parliaments. So, Speaker, in 1945, when Prime Minister Winston Churchill lost to the opposition leader Clement Attlee, he had been in Parliament for several terms, but Prime Minister Winston Churchill, having been booted out of government, moves from the very first front bench to the back bench. He became a backbencher. So, Speaker, Theresa May, I believe even up till now, is still in the House of Commons. She's a former Prime Minister. She's a backbencher. So, Speaker, the leader of the opposition for a long time, Jeremy Corbyn, leader of Labour Party, was a frontbencher like the minority leader, former minority leader Haruna Idrisu, and many others. When he was no longer the leader of the opposition, Mr. Speaker, he became a backbencher. But, Mr. Speaker, the problem we have here is that, so for example, the Honourable Haruna Idrisu was in Parliament in 2005. He became a minister in 2009, Minister for Communication. By this definition, at the time, he was a backbencher. So, Speaker, there are advantages for our system. And yes, he was. By this definition, he was a backbencher. Mr. Speaker, I see my big brother,
Can you
the Honourable
read
Minister.
The definition in
Mr.
Order
Speaker,
6?
let me read the definition.
Loud and clear.
Let me read it. No.
Because it's not only using the
Mr.
number
Speaker,
of terms you are in
Let me
Parliament.
read it, Mr.
Yes.
Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me read it. I'm saying that he came into Parliament in 2005. He came into Parliament in 2005. In 2009, he was a second termer. So, Speaker, if he was not a minister in 2009, by this definition, he will be a backbencher.
Yes. Now you are talking, but that wasn't what you said initially.
Mr. Speaker, I'm saying that by this definition, if he wasn't a minister of communication in 2009, he will be a backbencher.
Yes, now you are correct, but initially you were wrong.
Mr. Speaker, I'm guided. But what is Mr. Speaker, what's the point I'm making? Mr. Speaker, the point I'm making is that the contribution from the Minister for Education about learning, what it would have meant, Mr. Speaker, what it would have meant if we were practicing the British system will be that a first-timer could be seated right here behind the pillar and seated by a former Prime Minister or seated by a former minister or a former ranking member. So there is something, in my view, respectfully, anomalous with the definition of backbencher, which is tied up solely to term of office.
No, that is why you are wrong. look at the definition.
If I can conclude, Mr. Speaker, if I
read the definition carefully.
If I can conclude, which is tied up to term of office, to leadership, and to ministerial portfolio. No, but in Britain, in the House of Commons, Mr. Speaker, backbenching is tied up to either being a member of the shadow government or being a member of His Majesty's government. Mr. Speaker, the question about term of office only arises solely on account of who is the father of the house. Term of office doesn't come in when it comes to backbenching or frontbenching. Mr. Speaker, frontbenching and backbenching is tied up to either being a member of government or a member of the shadow government. Your role in government or your role in opposition. Mr. Speaker, that is why, for example, the 1922 committee, which is a backbenching committee, is arguably one of the most powerful committees in the Conservative Party in the House of Commons, which even in many cases is capable of toppling the Prime Minister. So the point is that, yes, the point is being made, give backbenchers opportunity and so on and so on. But my view, and I want to conclude on that, and I'm not here to question the standing orders, but perhaps we should take a cue from the Minister for Education in further interrogating the provisions of this standing order, that if we are actually going to be in a position where first-timers, let me put it that way, or second-timers, get the opportunity to contribute and represent fully in this House, we may have to look at the definition of backbencher again, and perhaps take inspiration from the Mother of all Parliament. But Mr. Speaker, whilst I have the opportunity, President Akufo-Addo, former President Akufo-Addo, never, Mr. Speaker, he never apologized and never said anything to the effect that the debt overhang was something he did as a president or his government did, which was what he sought to say, Mr. Speaker. This is a House of Records. This is a House of Records. So once it's been said,
Minister,
if I may be given the opportunity
were you
to just
there with
clarify.
them?
Pardon?
The former minister for the current minister for education makes reference to him meeting the president outside and the conversation between them.
He said the president said something at a conference in Brussels. He said he made a point publicly in Brussels. What the former president said was that was his darkest moment, but that it was absolutely necessary. And further said it is a reason why we are enjoying some relative stability in the macroeconomic sector of our country. That is what the former president said. What the Minister of Education said was totally misleading. Thank you very much.
Minister for Energy and Green Transition.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, whether Muhammad went to the mountain or the mountain went to Muhammad, at least there's some movements. And whether Jonah swallowed the whale or the whale swallowed Jonah, there's a swallow. Mr. Speaker, this is a very interesting topic, and I find it very, very intriguing. Indeed, listening to my colleagues, I'm very happy and proud to be a member of this parliament. It is true that in the British Parliament, tenure of office is not the major determining factor of whether you are a frontbencher or a backbencher. But in the British Parliament, the opposition side mirrors the government side because it's a Westminster system. So in as much as the person is a minister, that person is a member of parliament. And that is why you see shadow minister, but here we don't use shadow minister. Can you imagine placing the Honorable Haruna Idrisu, as experienced as he is, in the backbench role in Ghana's parliament? And that is why every parliament is shaped by its culture, by its ethics, and by its practices. So if we determine that having somebody like the Honorable Haruna Idrisu, having spent all this number of years here, he should not, 21 years. If you were a lady, you should be getting ready to get married at 21. That's a real experience. So can you imagine putting the Honorable Haruna Idrisu in the category of backbench? It cannot work. And so I find wisdom in deciding that the tenure of office or your years of experience ought to determine where you sit. And even in this parliament, when we are doing sitting arrangements, your years of experience counts a lot. So I think that we shouldn't discount that at all. I can only relate to the Honorable Haruna Idrisu. When I entered here as a first time, a lot of people thought I stayed here for some time. And it's because people like Haruna Idrisu mentored us, and not just mentored us, they gave us the opportunity to speak. And for me, that is critical. On very critical matters, if it's for 4 people, they will pick 3 front benches and add a back bencher. And he will sit with you, walk you through, and show you how to speak. For me, that is more practical, that is more efficient, because if you allocate a day and say this day is for backbenchers, like Kabiru said, it connotes a certain mentality. So, Mr. Speaker, you may, as Speaker, want to guide us, but I would only appeal to leadership and to yourself that even as we debate the key issues, once in a while you can identify a backbencher. And I recall Professor Michael Quay, anytime we spoke, myself and Adongo, he would invite us to his office and encourage us because he believed in in-depth knowledge analysis. And sometimes even when he's giving you 3 minutes, when he realized that you are churning out facts and quoting, he will give you extra 2 minutes and say that this is bonus for exhibiting knowledge and a sense of maturity. And so, Mr. Speaker, let me thank you for giving me this opportunity. We are still learning. This parliament has been around for a while. We'll continue to learn from people like you. I don't think that we need to change the current rendition of who is a backbencher. But I think that it is the approach and how we go about it that I think we should tinker with. On this note, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for the opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, leaders.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to also add my voice and comment on the statement made by the chairman of the backbenchers committee. Mr. Speaker, I think we are all saying the same thing, except that we are missing the UK system and the Ghana system. UK, they are running this opposition and government form of parliament. We in Ghana here, we have the majority and the minoritarian form of legislation. In essence, it means that in Ghana, you can be majority and it will not just be like one party that is majority. It could be a combination of parties to form majority, as what happened in last parliament, in the 8th parliament, where we, the MPP majority, we had 137. Our colleagues in the NDC had 137, but the independent elected to do business with us for us forming the majority party in the parliament. So trying to actually compare in terms of parliamentary system with regards to the Ghana system and the UK system will be very difficult to compare. And when many of them are making statements to the effect that many people enter the chamber as backbenchers, it's not everybody who entered parliament as a backbencher. I was fortunate. I didn't enter this chamber as a backbencher. I entered this parliament as a leader of this house. So people are fortunate and are lucky to be able to learn and then be able to have the opportunity to do so many things. But this parliament is, especially with the minority side, we are very unique. Like the Honorable Abu Jinapo, when he entered parliament, he entered as a minister. So if you look at our standing order in Order 6 on the interpretation, it made it clear, as a minister, he was not...
That may be applicable to you, but that is not applicable to a minister.
Mr. Speaker, if you read the interpretation...
You, the day of entry, you have been made a leader, but he entered before he's been appointed as a minister. So he didn't enter the way you entered.
Mr. Speaker, I am guided. And I take even you, JJ, you, energy minister, you entered as a backbencher. I didn't enter as a backbencher. So allow me to make, what's the difference? So allow me to make my point. I am your leader. Mr. Speaker, even though Dr. Kabiru tried mentioning many other names, you could see that some of our first-time MPs, especially in the minority side, hardly will you be able to identify their even first-timer or backbenchers when they are on their feet. The quality of their debates, the depth analysis that they have when they are... Mr. Speaker, at a point, the majority agree. At a point, the majority agree the quality of the minority. That is why the majority leader proposed that we shall allow 3 of them to speak and 1 of us will speak. Because he knew the quality we had on our side. He knew the quality that we had on our side. So, Mr. Speaker, this statement made by the chairman of the backbenchers committee, but I want to call on him that he has every power under our standing order in 236. It has given him the power under order 236. And if he, Mr. Speaker, because it says that they must determine that's 2362, that the committee shall determine the business of the backbenchers for each meeting. So if he sit down with his committee members, they can determine what they want to do. They can propose the business for the backbenchers, the time and order in which the business shall be taken, and relate with the business committee. So I want to call on him that within the standing orders, he has some powers as to what he is seeking, even though this statement is very important. And then we have a lot of people here, the education minister, who is a former leader, just left. They can guide. They can be able to inspire. That is why when you see that those who are on our side, the first timers, when they get up, I call them sharpshooters. Mr. Speaker, you see that one of our minority first timers will make a statement or contribute to a debate. It will take close to 10 of the majority to make statements. That will be equivalent to that, Mr. Speaker. Because of the quality that we have, because of the nurturing that we have. Mr. Speaker, what we have been able to do and successfully done is that...
Honorable Habib, you have been in this house for some time, and then you are a leader, and you must be guided as such.
Mr. Speaker, I am guided, and I will depart from where I was going, except to add that the quality of the members of the minority caucus is very solid. And Mr. Speaker, the seniors, Honorable Kojo Opon Nkrumah, Abu and Co., they have members who are first time that they are nurturing, they are guiding, and they are showing them as to how to do and be able to debate. I don't think our colleagues on this side are doing that because there are too many. They don't even have time for their colleagues. But our side, we have the quality to be able to guide our colleagues. And
yes, Honorable Zanato.
Thank you. Yes, I'm rising on a point of order. I don't think that it is accurate. To be quite honest, I think the leader is misleading the House, because to say that on this side we are not mentoring is presumptuous and it's wrong. So kindly correct yourself. If you know of anyone who is not mentoring somebody else, feel free to say so, but don't generalize. I think it's wrong to do so.
Mr. Speaker, I think Honorable Zanato. Okay, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Zainab. Mr. Speaker.
You see, Honorable Habib, with all due respect, having regard to your position as front bench, some statement ought not to have been coming from you only for them to be taking point of order. That's why I am providing a guard to you. Leadership has a way of speaking on the floor of Parliament.
Mr. Speaker, I am guided. And in fact, I was speaking... Mr. Speaker, I'm guided. And I was speaking about the quality of my MPs. Mr. Speaker, I was speaking about... I know my side. I can't speak for the majority. So, Mr. Speaker, with these few words, I think this statement is very important. And I call on the chairman of the committee to do more so that he will be able to come out with programs, come out with workshops to be able to enhance the capacity of his members. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
PENDREAM TV now, so far so good. Say open online portal Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. to my best of knowledge, without any biases. I PENDREAM TV.